Have your attention for just a few moments, please. I know it's very, very hot today. This is a very difficult day to be here in general. You know, the Dead Sea is known as the lowest point on earth. I believe that we are standing at the lowest place on earth, Majdanek. You've seen what the Germans, the Nazis did here, and you read and you heard testimonies. And right next to us is a place where 18,400 men, women and children were killed by gunshot in one day. I mean, that number is enough to turn your brain into guacamole. It doesn't make sense. I mean, imagine the ammunition that had to be just transported in order to do that. And behind you, and I'm actually surprised that they don't even have a sign. I was saying to Professor Alexiou a moment ago, they don't even have a sign explaining what this is, and all the tourists and all the visitors that come here. But I consider it to be the worst place in the world. This is the place that holds the ashes of between 80,000 and 250,000 men, women and children. I don't think there is such a place in the entire world. And these were regular Jews who were living in Poland. They were businessmen and women. They were workers. They were productive parts of society. And the only crime that they committed was being Jewish. That was it. They didn't do anything else. And between the years that we saw, they were transported here and they were murdered en masse, shot, hung, killed. Some tried to escape. Vast majority didn't, ended up dying, being burnt, and this is what remains. We don't even know who they are. They are nameless, faceless victims of the Nazi regime. About a week ago, the news reported on a statement by the Pope, just 1 week ago, and the Pope asked the question publicly, why didn't the Allied forces bomb the tracks going into Auschwitz? This is the question the Pope asked. Why now? This is another question, it's interesting. This is the question that he asked. And the world was silent. One of the expressions you hear to define the Holocaust and to understand it is never again. You heard that expression before. When I was a kid, one of the things my parents told me was never say never. Because never again is happening again. And we're seeing genocide every single day around the world, especially in the Middle East. In just as barbaric ways as happening here. And the question is, how does the world keep silent? One of the reasons that a number of people pay for us to be here is that we can bear witness and we can use our power of communication and knowledge to tell the world what is happening. In your hand, we've given you the Kaddish prayer. The Kaddish prayer is a prayer that is usually said by children for their deceased parents and for siblings, and heaven forbid for children as well that die. And for parents, it's said for 11 or 12 months, depends on the various customs. The word Kaddish is from the word Kadosh. The word Kadosh means holy, sanctified. But the root of the word actually means separate, distinct, apart, not the same. The land of Israel is called Kadosh because it's not like any other country. The Hebrew language is called Kadosh because it's different from every other language. The Jewish people are called an Am Kadosh, a holy nation, a specific mission. Separate, distinct. Shabbat is called Kadosh as well. It's very informative and very telling that this prayer is said by people for their deceased loved ones, and even the most secular Jews who have no connection to their heritage know that this is what they should say for their parents, knowing that this prayer is what accompanies their families to the next world, that separates them from the living. The people in this ditch behind you, their ashes, who knows who they are? Who knows if their children survived? Who knows if anyone ever said Kaddish for them? So it's our custom to say the Kaddish prayer on their behalf. I'll say the Kaddish, and you can answer as we go through. On page 196 in Hebrew, you can read the English in 197 if you prefer. The custom is, in honor of the deceased, to please stand and use the opportunity to say your own personal private prayers or meditations at this time. Yitzgadal, Yitzkadash Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma di v'rach yirutei, V'yamlich malchutei, V'yismarch bukanei v'gerev mishechei, B'chayachon, U'v'yomechon, U'v'dachai d'chol Beit Yisrael, B'agalav Zman Karev V'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mavarach Le'olam, Olol Meil Maya Yitbarach V'yishtabach Yispar, V'yitarman V'yitnasei, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal, Shemei D'Kodeshah B'rechu, La'ela Mikal Barachata V'shurata Tishbachata Nechamata Damaram V'alma V'imru Amen. Al Yisrael V'yarbanam V'yal Talmidehon V'yal Kol Talmidei Talmidehon V'yal Kol Dol Daman Daskin D'Oraita Divrach Ba'atra Hadein V'din D'chol Atar V'atar Heilachon D'chol Shlama Rabba China V'chizda V'charim V'chayin V'arichin U'mizoni Revichei U'fakanei Min Kadam Avon D'Shmai V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba, Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu, Tovim Aleinu, V'yal Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. O say Shalom B'imromav, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'yal Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen.
So we're gonna head back.